Hey friends! What's up everybody? Happy Tuesday. This is Hacks coming to you with another Borderlands 3 build video. Wasn't gonna make this one this week, but I'm really excited with what we've got here with Moze, and I wanted to share it with you all. Many people know that I am not the world's greatest Moze player, but I think this one is at least halfway decent. So I wanted to share it with you all. So let's get into that build. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you all to Shoeface, aka Tiger Uppercut Moze. Alright, so at the core of this build, you've really got to keep two main things in mind. One, the 5150 URAD anointment, and two, splash damage. Now, this gives us a lot of variety in terms of what weapons we could effectively run on this build. However, there are definitely some standouts that I want to share with you so that you can maximize the amount of damage you're able to put out with this build. The first thing I want to talk about is the Scoville. Now, this gun is highly underrated in my opinion. It's a point-and-click mob killer. That 5150 anoint really makes it do some crazy things. So I would definitely recommend picking up a Scoville and trying it out with this build. Moving on, we're using the Sandhawk. This is just a fan favorite gun. Lots of situations where this weapon can come in handy, so we're definitely happy to have it here. Now, the Tiggs Boom, this is just a weapon I really enjoy using. It does fit with the theme of the build, but it's not a necessity, so if you don't like Tiggs Boom, by all means swap it out, play around, see what you can come up with, but we enjoy it, so we're running it. One thing I would suggest you not swap out, however, is the back burner. Now, as you've seen in the intro clips, we're able to do some pretty crazy things with the back burner on this build. I've tried a lot of other launchers. The back burner tended to be the one that always pulled through for me and got me the best results, so I am sticking with it. I suggest you do as well. Now we are running for our shield a big boom blaster with the Iron Bear exit anoint. This is going to help us to keep our shields up, especially with the bloodletter. We're also getting that booster drop and the chance for the extra grenade and heavy ammo, which is always nice. You can feel free to play around with this, but I really enjoy using the big boom blaster. It's not a shield I get to use often. Speaking of not using things often, we're breaking away from cloning maddening trackers and going back to the It's Piss. Debuff is always nice, and that on grenade thrown 25% bonus is always helpful as well. Again, this is something you can mess with if you don't want to use an It's Piss, if you want to be more traditional with the CMT, by all means. We are running a Bloodletter Deathless combo, as you could probably tell from the intro clips. This is going to allow us to have some pretty crazy shields, enough so that we don't really go down as much as you may think. The Bloodletter is definitely what I would suggest as far as comms for this build, and to pair with that, we're running a Snowdrift Deathless. The Snowdrift speed is really nice. We've got some great passives on this one. So all in all, I feel that everything gear-wise for this build just sort of comes together in a crazy way. Again, we drop lots and lots of variety here with this build, so if you're looking to change it up, feel free to do so, but these are the pieces of gear that I would recommend starting out with. Alright, so let's take a look at these skill trees. Starting off with the blue tree, we're definitely putting 5 out of 5 points in the fire in the Skagden. This is a great perk as it is, but we all know at the moment it's buggy in a good way. You're getting way more out of this than what you're seeing on the card. So this is where I would put my first 5 points to move down the tree. We're also putting 5 points into Torg Cross Promotion. Now, this could very easily cause you to kill yourself more often than I'd care to admit. But that splash damage radius is insane, and the 30% splash damage bonus is fantastic. So we're putting 5 out of 5 points here. Just be mindful of how much splash damage you're actually doing when you have this skill maxed. We have put a point into Auto Bear. I just really enjoy Auto Bear. It's cool to have Iron Bear stay out on the field and continue shooting things and doing damage while you're out running around causing mayhem. So not a necessity, but we enjoy it. We are moving into the red tree now with 5 points into Selfless Vengeance. This is going to give us some incendiary damage. We don't really care about loss of health since we're running a Deathless. 5 out of 5 also in Drowning and Brass. This is another one of my favorite Moze perks. 3 out of 3 in Thin Red Line. Since we're running a Deathless, again, we do not care about losing the health, and this is going to help us keep our shields as high as they can and give us that little bit of sustainability. Vladoff Ingenuity is also helping to that effect by increasing our maximum shield and giving us that bonus to recharge rate. Again, we're not running Vampire, we're not running Fish Slaps. Shields are what's keeping us alive for the most part, so we want to make sure we maximize on that. We are running 1 point in experimental munitions. I feel this is a dead giveaway. We're getting that bonus incendiary damage when we score a critical hit for 1 point. I don't see how you can go wrong here. Really pairs nicely with the Scoville and some other weapons. Pretty cool perk. Desperate Measures, again, is one of those things that we're capitalizing on because we're running a Deathless. So we don't really care about our health being low. Our health is going to be low constantly. So with this, we're getting up to 100% bonus damage. Definitely a nice perk. Phalanx Doctrine is another means that we're using to keep our shield up consistently. We've got 2 points from the class mod here. We've put 5 out of 5. This is going to allow us to get a nifty little gun damage bonus, but it's also going to work nicely with keeping our shields at their maximum possible capacity. We're running the railgun for both weapons here. I do enjoy the railgun. Again, I was trying to break away from what's commonly used with the Vanquisher pods, and we are running the corrosive Sabat round as our augment. When I first read this, I accidentally read it as Sagat, and that's where I came up with Tiger Uppercut. But this is just really cool. We're not really noticing the 15% lack in damage, and we're definitely noticing how quickly we can shoot our railguns and how much damage they're putting out. Moving into the green tree, we've got 5 points in Cloud of Lead. This is going to give us the opportunity to save on some ammo and often deal some extra incendiary damage, so would recommend. Stoke the Embers is going to amplify the incendiary damage we're already doing, so we've put 3 out of 3 points here. We're also putting 5 out of 5 points into Scrappy. This is one of the more mobile Moze builds I've ever tried to make, so since we're constantly moving, getting those buffs on a fairly consistent basis is certainly not doing anything to hurt the build's effectiveness. I suppose you wouldn't have to put all 5 points here if you didn't want to, but I strongly suggest doing so. Now moving down the tree, we're going to be looking at Scorching RPMs and Russian Offensive. Russian Offensive is kind of our way of getting a little bit of lifesteal. We are moving and shooting a lot, doing a lot of spreading, a lot of fast sliding, so that little bit of lifesteal can come in handy. Doesn't really matter though because of the Deathless, but what really matters here is Scorching RPMs. That 5 out of 5 and that increased fire rate, the damage is nice as well. Also gives our Iron Bearer damage buff. I don't see any reason why not to max this skill out. Specialist Bear is pretty cool because we're running 2 railguns, so that's allowing us to get that bonus 60% damage, which is definitely nothing to scoff at. And we're running some for the road so that when we exit Iron Bear, we can get a little bit of that infinite ammo goodness and keep our firing at a maximum. Alright, so that about covers the skill trees for Shoeface Moze. Now let's get on over and talk about how we're rating this build. Alright, so if we're being honest, ranking this build was a little tough for me because I'm not traditionally a Moze player. But I will say I didn't have any issue killing hordes of enemies very quickly, so I feel like a 10 out of 10 for mobbing. I mean, I think that's totally fair in this scenario. Bossing, we're a little bit weaker, but we're still able to do some pretty solid damage, so I think an 8 out of 10 there is fair. Sustain is where it gets a little bit iffy because it is a deathless build, but we are running Moze, so we've got some pretty hefty shields. I think that helps balance things out for a 6 out of 10. And as far as gear dependency goes, as long as you're running 5150 annoyance and splash damage, I really don't think there's anything that's per se required, but there are some standouts. So I struggled here a little bit, but I think in the long run, a 6 out of 10 is an effective ranking for this build's gear reliance. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the video. If you've watched it this far, thank you. If you like what you've seen, please consider subbing to the channel and dropping a like on the video. It really helps me get my foot in the door with YouTube. Also, it's worth mentioning that we do build giveaways all day, every day over at my Twitch channel, so if you're looking for this build or many others or anything really, feel free to drop on by over at www.twitch.tv/H4XZZHD. Also, you're welcome to connect with me on Twitter, and by all means, please join our growing Discord over at the After Hours Club. We've got a lot of great people doing a lot of great things for the community, so if you want to get more involved or if you're looking for ideas or just people to play with, by all means, the Discord's a great place to check out. So I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.